Good evening. This is the Town of Barnstable Waterways Committee meeting for Tuesday, October the 28th, 2025. And before we begin in this meeting, I have to advise that tonight's meeting is being recorded and broadcast on Channel 18 and in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20. I must inquire if anybody is recording this meeting. If so, please make their presence known to the chair. Present for the town of Barnstable, we have Harbor Master Brian Taylor and Administrative Assistant Polly Plachinsky. Uh, Committee members, we have Gary Schramek, Jacob Angelo, Greg Egan, myself, Paul Everson, and do we have Todd?
Present.
Thanks, Todd. So all members of the committee present. Start off with the agenda. Polly, are you able to enlarge that? Otherwise, I gotta grab it back here. Okay, the Waterways Committee meeting minutes. Do we have those minutes for the September 23rd?
Good evening, Brian Taylor, Harbor Master. Yes, Polly submitted them through email earlier this week.
Okay, great. Has everybody had a chance to review those minutes? And if so, I'll entertain a motion to approve as written.
So moved.
All right, thanks, Todd. Second?
Second.
Thanks, Gary. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have, thank you. Notices of intent. Stephen, Wendy, D'Angelo, this is continued from 7/22. Revised. The project location is 108 Long Beach Road in Centerville. Represented Dan Ojala, Down Cape Engineering. And the project is for a proposed fixed pier ramp and floats. Conservation hearing was on 7/8. And do we have Mr. Ojala?
Yes. Good evening, Chair Everson, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Dan Ojala. I'm a licensed civil engineer and also a professional land surveyor and work with Down Cape Engineering in Yarmouth Port. We've got with us on the line a couple of the D'Angelo family members, and it looks like a couple of the concerned abutters as well. And hopefully we can have a productive conversation here about how to best, serve our boating needs and protect the environment and the navigation as well. So as you may recall, this is on the little cove off of Centerville River. So it's kind of a backwater. It's the end of the Centerville River, unless you're going to go north and up under the bridge. Some kayakers may go up that way. It was dredged a while back. There's actually a fair amount of water in the middle, and there's a couple of moorings out there. This is a wintertime aerial that you're looking at, so a lot of the piers are not deployed, and it looks like some of the newer ones haven't been put in the ground yet. But nonetheless, it's an area that's, as I said, it's not heavily traveled, except there's, the whatever there are, eight or 10 boats more to the east of us. This is one of the lots. There are many of them created where you have lots on the north side, and those either were dock lots that have houses on them, or they created dock lots when they conveyed them out. So the larger homes on the south side of Long Beach Road are on the open sound, and of course that isn't appropriate for a pier because you get rollers coming in off a Nantucket Sound and will wreck your pier and boat in short order, let alone hurricanes. But on the north side, it's a good place to put piers, and you can see the areas sort of bristling with piers. We do have a licensed pier right now. It's a float with it's fixed to a licensed bulkhead. To our west, there's a slightly older bulkhead. It's got two docks on it. To our east, there's a bulkhead, and it's got a dock to it. On the opposite of those described properties, there's a fixed pier ramp and floats on either side of that. And across the street, you can see some rather monumentally large piers that come out into the deeper water to give those boat owners access to water that's navigable. You may recall, we had talked before, but there was a shellfish survey that found black mayonnaise here. It was not a good shellfish habitat at all, but just black muck mayo, he called it. There were a few oysters clinging to the rock wall, and so the DMF letter picked up on that and said, there's certainly some value, and we would agree with that. The rocks that support a couple of oysters are certainly beneficial, and hopefully they will grow. And perhaps the next time it's dredged and cleaned out a little more, it would be even better for shellfish. But for right now, it's just muck. And so, and when that's the situation, the Conservation Commission guidelines talk about a 12-inch separation between the bottom of your prop and mean low water. And in order to achieve that, we had pushed the pier out a good bit to try and put a good sized boat on here. There was pushback both from an initial meeting with conservation from the abutters, and this board was also, I think, characterized it as a little bit concerned that we had exceeded the length of our frontage with the boat, and also, we're a little bit proud of where the line of piers was up and down the river. And so we, in response to that, we shrunk the fixed pier down by a set of piles. Instead of the 8, we're down to 6 piles now. Pulled it back a full 10 feet, and we switched down to a 25 footer, a rather flat V 25 footer that the prop is only 18 inches down. So there's just barely enough water for that there, with the motor down to have 12 inches under the prop with a very low draft 25 footer. So, but we feel that that's a reasonable boat. Mr. D'Angelo and his family would like to exercise, their ability to fish. It's a pier ramp and float is a water dependent structure, and generally allowed. There are a couple of waivers requested of that you could take notice of from the Conservation Commission. I know your charge is mainly hazard to navigation, and I know some of you look carefully at the shellfish. The length of the in the narrative to the conservation, we talk about you're not supposed to go out more than the width of the lot, and in order to get that water to protect the benthic environment and get the depth that's requested, we do have to be out. The distance is shown on the plan. The outer float is about 32 feet from shore. Again, you've got a good distance now. It's a full 87 feet across to the float on the other side, in basically a still water basin that's pretty easy to maneuver. I've never had a problem turning in that area when I've just kind of puttered through with my little boat. The existing ramp and float are great, but you simply can't put the float out that far and extend a ramp out. It would be you'd have to do a big aluminum truss monstrosity of a ramp, and it would just be unwieldy. You'd have to have basically a crane down there to move it every year. So typically, as we did for Hughes, 2 doors down to the right, we'll just extend a fixed pier out so you can get a reasonably length ramp down to the float and get your water depth that's required to protect the environment. Again, the main home is on the other side of the street. They can't have a pier there, so the pier have historically been allowed on these lots. The neighbors are generally fairly accommodating. In this particular case, the neighbor enjoys 2 pier ramp and float systems. I believe there may be 2 houses associated with it on some level, but that's fine. They've been there for a long while. Brayman showed them in '94 for the old owner, and then Sullivan relicensed them some years back under the current owner. And And what we're looking to do, that's on the west, and the east is similarly a license 8099, and that is a smaller boat and not too much water. And you can see just to the right of that is Hughes, where that newly constructed ramp and float gets them out to a similar water depth. They're about 5.3 under the motors. We're just a little under that, 5.0 to 4.6 on the NAVD 88 datum, which it reads low. You got to really come up about 2 feet to round figures for me in low water. So there's not much water under it, but it's just enough. About 2 feet on the rail, and where the motor is pretty close to 2.7 feet that we need for the extra foot under the 18 inches. So we're as close in as we can get legally. Obviously, one of the most important things you can do is protect that bottom from getting stirred up and creating siltation that can hurt the benthic environment. It's again, I think it's an advantage to the Conservation Commission that they're now going to be able to restrict the boat size to 25 feet. Right now, high tide, he could bring a 35 footer up to the boat and up to the ramp, and it would stir up the water. And there's really, it's kind of allowed because there was no restrictions back then. So we feel that that's a benefit to renewing the license and accepting a limitation on the draft and the boat size. It will help protect the environment. I did on this plan here drop a drone image that I had taken around the 4th of July. I think it was late June. I had the western float to the abutter was pointed out that I had that drawn a little too long. The Google Earth image was a little bit warped or whatever. It showed it out a little bit further. And so I shortened that up properly to the size that exists on the ground. And there's about a 25-foot overall length boat there. There's a couple foot swim platform on the back that's included right next to us for size reference. That's going to be about 16.5 foot clear where we are. And we would note that you could come in from the west and dock very easily on there. If you're good, you can spin it right where it is. It depends on your boating skills and whether the wind is blowing or not. But we think that because we fall within the line of that boat and the Hughes boat, that the blue line that we'd kind of sketched in before at the last meeting, we meet the spirit and intent of that, and we've got the boat within the reasonable of the 25-foot guidelines east to west. So the neighbors hired an attorney who wrote a nice letter. And basically, the gist of it is that they'd like it shorter. But unfortunately, with the bottom depth and dredging is very, very hard to get permitted. It's almost impossible. And we're just as close in as we can get without the motor coming within 12 inches of the bottom. So, our hands are kind of tied on that. This is kind of where it has to be. We think it's reasonable. Again, if it was a busy channel and we're sticking out further, then there could probably be some concerns. But I think the commission could recommend at least a neutral to the Conservation Commission that it's not a big hazard to navigation, and be glad to go over any of the finer points of the proposal if you'd like me to. Thank you.
Are you able to enlarge that screen that you have there, sir?
I think Polly's got it up, so you can go in quite close, I believe.
Okay.
So what you see there is the existing ramp and float, and then the proposed, and the two little white dots are, I don't know if you made it out to the site, but those were floats that we had put out where the original proposal was about 10 feet prior to where we ended up. So we pulled back. So the boat will be inside of those two buoys in the final permit if it goes through.
Chairman Everson, Brian Taylor, Harbor Master. You do have correspondence in relation to this agenda item as well. I'm not sure if you want to hear it at the same time, but you do have correspondence from Pierce Atwood LLP in regards to this.
Right. Do you have that correspondence that you can bring up on the screen for me?
Sure.
And do we have Mr. Atwood present at the meeting?
We have Mr. Bailey.
Okay.
I wrote the letter.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just, I really can't read that from where I have that here. And apparently a lot of this correspondence came into a junk mail of mine. So I'm just trying to retrieve it here. Um,
Understood.
so why don't you go ahead, Mr. Bailey, and go ahead with your comments.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the record, my name is Dan Bailey. I'm a land use and environmental attorney at Pierce Atwood in Boston. I represent the abutters on either side. David and Patricia Wallace at 112 Long Beach Road, and Carol Ann Cushing and Sharon Monahan at 98 Long Beach Road. We've basically got, my clients have, three objections to this proposal. The first is it's just simply too large for what is a very narrow 25-foot wide site at the shoreline. We've seen it on the plans, and we can put them back up, but the distance from the new proposed dock to the Wallace's existing dock on the abutting property is only 16.5 feet. We think this will result in navigational and safety threats to existing docks and piers on my client's property, particularly the Wallace property to the west. The next comment we have is, as Mr. Ojala mentioned, the proposed new dock and float extends 32 feet into the river. Your regulations provide that docks and piers should not extend more than 50% of the frontage of the shoreline into any river or navigable waterway. So this is 2.5 to almost 3 times extending beyond your regulations. Obviously, the reason you have those regulations is if you have a whole bunch of narrow waterfront shorelines, it gets very crowded very quickly. This one, it works right now, but if it were to be further extended, then it would get extremely tight. My third point is that what is being proposed is an elevated permanent pier. Your regulations provide that a strong preference for seasonal docks, much like we have seasonal docks on the abutting properties, because the impacts of seasonal docks are lesser than the impacts of permanent piers. Here, we'd have a permanent pier that would require 6 pilings, the attendant disturbance from that. So there are a couple of regulatory reasons here that are entirely inconsistent with your rules that you would need to, I guess you grant a waiver. I haven't heard any really good reason for a waiver other than that, well, we need the depth. Well, yeah, okay, you need the depth, but you could also go with a smaller boat. Those are our concerns. I go more of a regulatory legal analysis later in the letter, but those are the highlights, and I won't bore you with the wonky stuff. And I'm very happy to answer any questions.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Yeah, I found the letter here now. It was on the other side. Um, do we have comments from the Harbor Masters Department on this application as presented now?
Good evening, Brian Taylor, Harbor Master. So I do believe that the proposed project, although revised, and I like the plans a lot better than that than what was originally proposed. It does encroach on the two properties to the left and the right. If you take a look at the image that I have up, can everybody see the image of the property map?
Yes.
So I believe it would limit some access to the property to the left, 112 Long Beach for some navigational concerns. Again, just because this existing Centerville River location, I'm going to back out here, is down Centerville River, there is a small parcel that's a town way to water. And again, most of the dredging that occurs in this location occurs up until McCarthy's Landing, or also known as Hayward Landing off of Hayward Road here. And there's existing mooring permits in here. There are a few mooring permits down actually in this little cove. Now, like I said, there is a town way to water here for public access, and Mr. Ojale had mentioned that most of the navigation in here is kayaks. And so there are some larger vessels that are permanently affixed to docks here. And they're also on fixed piers as well. Again, I do think that it is in close proximity to the existing pier that's on 112 Long Beach. And I'm a little bit hesitant with extending any piers as far as we go here. I know we've run into some of these issues down the road here with, Fish Hills, and even in some parcels within Centerville River, where navigation occurs right along the dock's edge. And that invites other issues, as I deal with on a regular basis, like no wake issues, speeding issues, and increased complaints because docks are in close proximity to channels. I will say that this is quite outside the Centerville River kind of navigable water, say, at this point. Not to say the town couldn't dredge in this area in the future to the town landing here. But those are pretty much my comments at this time.
Okay, thank you. Comments from other committee members?
My primary concern is that if we deviate from our specifications, it potentially opens up a can of worms, and it lends us to a level of congestion that wouldn't be very favorable for anybody. So that's my primary concern. I love to see people to get access to the water. But we do have some guidelines in place that at the very least beg a conversation, if not just sticking to them for their merit.
Okay, thanks, Todd.
Paul, this is Greg.
Yeah, Greg.
I would echo Todd's comments. I can't speak to the regulatory concerns, but they seem, sort of outside the purview of what we look at. But relative to the navigation and the convenience of the boat and dock existing structures, I think one of the slides showed 16-foot space between. And I think that's unreasonably close, and agree with the harbor master that bringing this pier out as proposed would cause navigation issues.
I agree with everybody, their comments so far. I'm really not in favor at this point with that design and how far it goes out, especially according to the lot size, the water frontage.
If I could, through the chair.
Yes, go ahead, Dan.
So Dan Ojala from Docket. So I just point out that, as you could see from some of the photos, there already is a pier there. Basically, his ramp and his float and boat are proud of us right now. So to say that he's giving us navigational issues, and then if we go out just a little bit beyond him, then we're giving him navigational issues. It's just snug in there either way. If there wasn't a pier here, I certainly wouldn't ask for it. But for us to go in there with a good sized boat, stirring up the bottom and navigating and going back and forth, it would seem to me to make more sense to push us out into a little bit deeper water, have a little bit cleaner flow through there, and put it where we've got it. Right now, there are no limitations to the size. You say we could use a smaller boat, but there's not much that drafts under 18 inches. Anytime you have a boat, it's going to take at least 6 inches, even if you got a very flat bottom and the motor's down, about a foot underneath that, just to catch clean water. So we're about as shallow as we can be and meet that regulation, which the commission, likes to hold us to. It's not high shellfish habitat, but 12 inches is not a lot when you get the muck. And boy, I mean, if you look at the big picture, there's a ton of room to get through there. We had talked before about a reference line. We drew a blue line, and you said, maybe if we get it behind that, that would be reasonable. We've pulled it in, so we do meet that. We've got about the shallowest draft boat you can float, and it's kind of where it needs to be. So I'd really appreciate some direction on if we could put it there just a few feet in from there. The abutter could certainly, if he's not a good boat driver, move his pier down a few feet. We could probably help him out with that if he needed to. He's got a lot of frontage. We don't. But we do have a licensed pier, and would rather not, crowd it with a bigger boat real close to the shore. So we're trying to do it the right way, and anything you guys can do to help us out, we sure would appreciate.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak to this matter?
I'd like to just say, kind of like what Todd said about setting a precedent. If we let this go and it's breaking one of our regulations, then who's to say that they can't just come in and ask for the same thing?
Okay, Jacob, thank you. I think that our big concern here is just the narrowness of this lot. Granted, it is an existing pier. It's just that the vessel itself is boundary to boundary, so to speak. It's just pretty big for the ask where you're asking to put it. So would you like us to vote on this, Mr. Ogier, or
Yeah, no, I think would like your opinion, up or down, and we'll take that to the Conservation Commission or take it to the abutters and talk it over some more and iterate in. But yeah, we sure, I think this is what we can offer right now. And if you just state your reasons, if you'd like to, vote negatively on it, and we'll certainly listen.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion from any member as to the
I'll make a motion to deny this pier and float as proposed.
okay, Jacob? Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, and we'll do a roll call vote on this. So we have Jacob as,
Aye.
okay, Todd,
Aye.
okay, Greg,
In favor, aye.
okay, Todd. I'm sorry, Gary.
In favor.
Okay, and myself in favor as well. Okay, so it is not approved.
All right. Well, we appreciate your consideration on it, and appreciate the tricky job you guys do for the town, and we'll see if we can revisit it in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. And next up, can we bring back up the agenda, please? Okay. The next applicant is Terry Zekel, trustee for Terry Zekel Trust. Project is 129 Main Street in Osterville. The proposed project is construction of a vinyl bulkhead along existing boathouse and extend boathouse platform and proposed timber boat dolly. Okay, I've got that back up here now too. A dolly ramp. Do we have Mr. O'Day from Sullivan Engineering?
Yes, John O'Day Sullivan Engineering is here. I'm
Thank you.
representing the applicants. Um, as it was stated, this is 129 Main Street in Osterville. The aerial's up here. There is an existing boathouse, and we are proposing to construct a bulkhead just along, just seaward of that, not across the whole property, but and we're kind of, I don't know, about 8 feet off the deck of that. We're well above mean high water. We had proposed a little bit of like a dolly ramp to get over the top of it, which also wasn't going below mean high water, and some additional platform up by the boathouse. Conservation was struggling with those, so they've been removed from the plan at this point, but we are still moving forward to try to get their approval just for this stretch of bulkhead. As I said, it's above mean high water. I don't see how it would have any navigational concerns, but here we are.
Okay, and can we enlarge that as well? Okay, so that the bulkhead, would that be located where that blue line is, the one closest to the water?
No, see that deck that his cursor was sort of just at right
Yes.
there? That
Yeah.
deck, it's
Yeah.
about eight feet seaward of that. So maybe if you walked along the dock one more pile down, that's where it would be.
Okay.
Right there. Above the
Okay.
marsh, above mean high.
All right. And the dock situation is remaining the same?
Nothing, doing nothing.
Okay. Harbor Master Department, do we have a comment on that?
No comments at this time on this project. Thank you.
Okay. Do other committee members, do we have anybody like to speak to this?
I guess more so out of curiosity, what's the intended purpose of the bulkhead? Is it to keep water out? Is it privacy?
It's to keep the water from eating away at the land that's in front of the boathouse. There's a decent 3-4 foot scarp just kind of off that face at this point, and they don't feel comfortable letting that kind of get any closer to that building. It would turn into a real problem. So we're just trying to build a little low, keep storms like today off of it. The big one's gonna go right over the top and knock everything down.
And is the proposed bulkhead from blue line to blue line across the
No,
whole
it's
width?
going, oh, I just closed it. It's only running about 30, like 45 feet wide, just in, it probably goes 10 or 15 feet southwest of the pier and up to that northeasterly property line. Half, 3/4 of the property we're not doing anything to.
And the proposed height of the bulkhead, both subterranean and above ground?
So the top of the bulkhead is set at elevation 5.75, and the grade kind of running above the marsh below this wall is 3.5. The lower level of that boathouse is about 8. So we're kind of sitting right at that midpoint in between those two.
Okay, great. Appreciate the clarity.
No problem.
Okay, anybody else have comments on this? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
That's a
Second.
motion approved as proposed, right?
Correct.
Okay. And who did I get the second from? I'm sorry.
Todd.
Todd, thank you. Okay, so Todd in favor, Greg in favor, Jacob,
Aye.
Gary,
I
and myself in the affirmative. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Next up, we have 200 North Bay Road in Osterville. And this is Emily Dawn Kunz trustee for the Emily Dawn Kunz Revocable Trust. And again, Mr. O'Day will be representing this one. Repair or replace permitted bulkhead, replace wood landing and a shed and bank vegetation restoration. Mr. O'Day?
So this property is 200 North Bay. I'm not sure if they'll bring up the aerial or not, but the shore front is currently protected by a timber bulkhead. There we go. And our project is it's showing age. It's getting some washout behind it. The wood is not getting any younger in it. And it's an appropriate time, we believe, to be upgrading it. And we're proposing to build a new vinyl wall immediately along the seaward face of that existing structure. We are not making any changes to the pier. We're not making any changes in the size or location of the existing kind of landing, which is that bump out in the blue line centered around the pier that you see there. The other work is all landward of it and probably not as much of a concern to you, but doing some bank vegetation restoration to try to improve the stability and habitat and all the other fun stuff above it. There's an existing shed down above the bulkhead, which is going to be kind of getting relocated, but not going out into the ocean.
Okay, thank you. And you said that this new bulkhead will be immediately in front of the old one?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, questions from any of our committee members?
No changes, just basically mimicking the existing structure with different material and laying it in front.
Laying in front, it is going 1 foot higher, but no changes in directions or locations or just a material.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
If anybody else, if not, I will entertain a motion to approve this one.
I would make said motion to approve this as designed.
Okay, thanks, Todd. Second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, thanks, everybody. So Todd and Gary, Jacob,
Aye.
okay, Greg,
Yes, aye.
and myself in the affirmative as well. That's all. That one passes.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice night.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next up, we have Harold Coxell Jr. trustee. Project location is 265 Seaview Ave in Osterville. Represented by Charles Rowland of Cape and Islands Engineering. Proposed existing timber access stairs and deck in the same footprint with a dry well. Work is proposed within a coastal bank, coastal beach, and lands subject to coastal storm flowage. Do we have Mr. Rowland?
He is not on, but I am, this is Kasha with Cape and Islands Engineering, representing for him.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yep, so this is Kasha Koss, a wetland scientist and permitting specialist with Cape and Islands Engineering, representing Harold Coxell at 265 Seaview Ave for the proposed in-kind replacement of the deck and stairs. It is above the mean high water line and completely within the coastal bank and flood zone. It was already approved by conservation and no comment was necessary from DMF as it is completely above mean high water and essentially completely over an existing stone riprap and a portion of maintained lawn. So if there were any concerns or questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Great, thank you.
Where's the
And-
location of the dry well?
The dry well is even further inland, so landward, kind of, where the coastal bank flood zone line is. If you can see that, I can share my screen here. Oh, okay, maybe not. But yeah, if you see the plan, it should be, landward of the stairs.
Mhm.
And that would be improvement to current conditions as there is not currently a dry well.
Okay.
What is a dry well, if you don't mind me asking?
That I am not sure exactly. It's for drawdown for the hot tub that's there.
What do you mean? Like what's drawdown?
I'm sorry, you asking the type of dry well?
Yeah, like what is a dry well? I've just never seen one before.
Oh, it's to address runoff from a surface area typically it's for roof runoff and water. So here it's just addressing if the hot tub, if it needs to be drained, it would go into the dry well versus, onto the lawn or, down into the ocean here.
I got you.
Okay, any other comments or questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept this.
I'll make the motion to accept it as designed.
All right, thanks, Todd. Second.
Second.
Thanks, Greg. And Gary,
Aye.
okay. Jacob
Aye.
and myself, aye. Okay, that's all set. Mooring appeals, we have none. Old business update on the conversation from 9:23 regarding commercial slips in Barnstable Harbor. Harbor Master Taylor.
Good evening, Brian Taylor, Harbor Master. So I've been doing a bit of research over the last month. I believe we were originally advised about Rock Harbor and some of the regulations they had there pertaining to commercial slips. They call it the South Dock commercial slip. So I've read up on some of that information, as well as did some research on the state aspect with the legal law library in regards to wait lists. I haven't got a definite answer, and I need to circle around with the town's legal to certify this. But it looks like, as far as marina space goes, it's kind of hard property, and we can manage the wait list as we see fit. It's a little bit different than Mass General Law in Chapter 91, Section 10A, which requires towns to have a wait list for some of the mooring fields. So there's some research I've been doing, as well as I contacted another state agency. It's actually an association, but they got their information from a state board in regards to charter and head boats. So there's a charter and head boat association. I believe it's called Stellwagen Charter and Head Boat Association. So I did contact the vice president in regards to whether or not he knew of any other municipalities, and if they had any special commercial or charter head regulations. This next month, I'm going to reach out to a couple local marinas in the state that actually, a couple local municipalities, excuse me, in the state that have marinas. There's only a few municipalities that actually manage their own marinas, and so I'll reach out to them to see if they have any commercial space that's designated for charter or head boats. But I just want to let you know I am interested in this. I'm going to move forward. It's probably not something that's going to be done by next season, but it's definitely something that I'm going to at least investigate and come back to the Waterways Committee with either changes to the regulations, a workshop, or some of the information I find out.
Okay, thank you. You want to continue with the marina fee proposal?
Yep, so I submitted the proposed marina fee phase 2 structure of the fees to the town manager. The town manager will hold a public fee hearing on November 13th at 11 a.m.
Could you throw them up by any chance?
Sure. I think I can do that.
I know you showed them, like, I think at the last meeting or before that, but
Yeah, give me a second here.
were there any changes to,
Can you see that?
yeah, were there any changes to like the off season this time
Mm,
around? Or just the stuff in the red?
Just the stuff in the red, which is going up $5 a foot for residents, and
Hmm.
$5 a foot for non-residents. And then there was a 25-cent increase per day for recreational transient dockage in
Hmm.
season.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And that's in line with other
Hmm.
municipalities around here.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. And under the new business, can you tell us about your upcoming joint training exercise?
Yeah, let me just gonna stop sharing my screen here. Did I stop sharing? Hmm. So we have a training exercise on November 13th, I believe it is.
Correct.
Let me just make sure that, yeah, November 13th in the morning. Um, we will be shutting down um, access under the bridge for a training exercise for diving with Con Fire. We're actually going to be anchoring the vessel for 2 points across from both Marinas Nauticus and the other Egan property that's located on the other side. And we're going to actually be anchoring the vessel, so there'll be a line across the entire channel, and then we're going to be conducting dive training exercises for a period of about 4 hours on location. And this will simulate someone basically submerged underwater in a recovery effort. So there will be Com Fire Department, some other local agencies that are going to join with dive teams, and we'll be doing some reiterations of those divers running off the back of our vessel in diving along this water's edge on the bridge edge to do a recovery.
Good. All right. Well, thank you. Um, the correspondence we had was the Attorney Bailey regards to 108 Long Beach Road. That was next up on the agenda, but we've addressed that. Harbor Master report.
Yeah, so I'll make it short and sweet. Kind of want to focus on marinas here. My marina staff has been working very hard the past couple of years to replace docks in Barnstable Harbor. I'm not sure if you guys have been to Barnstable Harbor recently, but over the past few years, they've replaced approximately 20 to 25 fingers in Barnstable Harbor. It's a tall order. We build all our docks internally to our specifications, and then we install them on location. Um, I was trying to get to my pictures here, but I'm in between 5 screens. What am I sharing right now? Does it say, do you see anything?
Yeah, it's just a scene of like water with some pine trees and mountains in the background.
Okay, so it looks like it's my background. I apologize. Um, so I would just wanted to get some pictures here up. I'll make it short and sweet. I know Jay talks a lot about the waterways and what they do, which is very important, but I have a whole staff that does just marina maintenance at the marinas, and they spend long hours building docks, and making sure that everything's safe for the public as well as our slip holders to access. I know Mr. Schrammick, he's seen some of the work that they've done and they're going to continue to do over the next couple of years. So as far as the dock work, I did want to show some pictures. Let's see if it will show on here. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. Um, so the staff also replaced a gangway along our double gangway section, which is leading into our commercial section. That was replaced. It was custom fabrication and installed by my staff. We did have an issue with some of the teeth that the gangway grab into, so we replaced those as well. But the gangway was upgraded this past month. And then, like I said, we're replacing docks. We're going to focus on replacing mains next winter. We're building fingers every single year. And I just want to give a shout out to my staff because they work, like I said, long, hard hours building docks, installing them, getting everything ready to go so it's safe.
Great. Thank you. Um, do we have anything else from any of the members that'd like to bring forward at this time? Just if we remember that November's meeting, we would have it on I believe it's going to be on the 18th, and we can just confirm that because otherwise we would be having it just before Thanksgiving. I think we agreed to move that one up. Let's, if
That,
we can.
That's correct. It's November 18th. And then in that meeting, we should have our date set forth for the 2026 calendar year, presented to the Waterways and you, Mr. Chairman. I will ask though, and I know Jay brought this up today, Jay was interested in doing the 6 o'clock start for the winter, starting in November. So that would be a change to 6 o'clock starting this coming meeting. I'd probably like a motion to change that for November if everyone's okay with it. And then throughout the winter up until basically May 1, we'd have a 6 o'clock start. But it's okay if it doesn't work. He just wanted to throw it out there.
Okay, I believe we did that last year too.
Yes, sir.
Okay. For the members, anybody having difficulty with a 6 o'clock start?
Nope.
Or so let's go through. Gary,
I'm fine with it.
okay. Jacob,
Yeah, I'm good.
all right. Greg,
Yes, no problems.
thank you. And Todd,
No problems.
okay.
Okay, so
So-
we're going to change that on the town calendar to be a 6 o'clock start for November 18th. And then moving forward, we'll do, when we present the dates, we'll present 6 o'clock up until May 1st.
Correct. And then the next meeting on the 18th, we'll have the calendar formulated for 2026.
Yes, sir. And we're also going to change the December 16th meeting, which starts at 7 to 6 o'clock as well. And then we will present the dates next meeting.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
If there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay. We'll see everybody on the 18th.